Hey everyone, I'm Scott Stokely and I'm here in Johor, Malaysia with the president, the founder, dare I say emperor, no I'm just kidding, of Malaysian disc golf, Eric Grover. And y'all are not going to want to miss this one. This is going to be one of the coolest, most interesting stories ever. Your minds are going to be blown by what you're about to hear. But first, as I travel the world promoting disc golf, if you want to support what I do, scottstokely.net has all my tour series merchandise and all the stuff you can buy. I don't take donations for the stuff I do, but if you want to buy cool stuff, the money goes to me helping do the stuff I was doing in Johor, right? Yeah. All right. I hate pitching stuff at the beginning, but if I don't do that, then I can't be in Malaysia. So, as usual with most of these interviews, I'm going to take a few minutes where it seems like I'm doing all the talking because I want to give you a proper introduction and give some background and set the stage. But once I start asking you questions, I'll zip it and let you do the talking. So, disc golf around the world. Like we all know, it's booming in the US and of course Finland, Estonia, Scandinavia, Europe, Canada, Australia, New Zealand are, coming along. But there's also the majority of countries that are to a large extent, the developing world, sometimes third world. Getting disc golf in those places has been a challenge. I know Paul Macbeth's foundation is doing a good job, and there's individuals all over the world who are doing a good job in their communities bringing disc golf, and this is something that I'm passionate about helping promote as well. And one of the things that I've observed is that in a lot of places there's obviously no disc golf because the sport is new to a lot of countries, but there's people in those countries, especially like the expats living there, that play disc golf. They would love to see disc golf, but don't know how to do it. Maybe sometimes they don't want to put in the work, but I think a lot of times people just don't know how to go about doing this. Then there's other places where there's some very motivated, amazing individual gets a course put in the ground. That's crazy in a place where they've never even heard of disc golf, getting that first course in. So we come to Johor, Malaysia, and there's 9 courses here. And it wasn't even on my radar, but I think among places where you don't think disc golf is, I don't think there's anywhere in the world, could be wrong, where there's 9 disc golf courses. And I was like blown away, and then I realized we've got to talk and we got to share how to go about, like how you did this. This is it's insane. I'm going to say the word insane 30 more times in the next however long. But first off, Eric Grover, thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Okay, that's most of my words for the day. Now we're going to let you do the talking. So first off, give me the quick background on how you wound up in Malaysia and how you started getting courses in the ground.
Okay. Obviously, I'm from the United States. My wife is Malaysian. I met my wife actually in the United States in Bowling Green, Ohio, at a disc golf course. It was a free date, so I was trying to bring her out. She wasn't into disc golf at that time. After living overseas in China, my contract finished at work, and we decided to relocate to Malaysia. We're here. I've arrived in Malaysia. Like disc golf. Looking up disc golf on the internet, want to play, want to get around in, and there are 0 courses. And then I looked at neighboring Singapore, and they actually had a disc golf club. There was a guy, Lance DeBose. He's doing a lot with the disc golf community.
Lance is amazing, by the way.
Yes, he's the man you need to talk or need disc golf, he is the guy. I reached out to their club. He said, yeah, we have disc golf. It was at West Coast Park at the time, which was an amazing disc golf course if you ever are in Singapore. But I needed to commute over there. I commute over to Singapore. I want to play. It's a long commute.
How many cars, how many boats, how many taxis, how many trains, how many buses?
So at that time, I'm living here. I don't have a driver's license. I hopped on a bus, got to immigration, hopped off the bus, got back through the Singapore immigration, hopped on another bus, got off at the bus stop, got on an MRT, and then walked about maybe a mile or 2 and arrived at the course. It was beautiful.
By the way, so next time you complain about a 25-minute drive to play league, zip it.
Yeah, we only had like 2 discs with us as well, so
okay.
It wasn't like I was lugging a huge bag. And we arrived, and it's a beautiful course. Loved it. Started playing. This is Southeast Asia. it started pouring down rain, and the round seemed to dwindle into nothing. So we needed to make that long trek. I'm not going to go back through it, all the way to get home after just playing 2 rounds of disc golf. I really wanted to keep playing, and there was no courses. I couldn't keep making this trip to Singapore. Just didn't have the time, and the commute was just too much. So we decided, myself and my wife, to build our own course. But to build a course, you need baskets. And my wife wasn't working at the time. Finances weren't the greatest. I'm not a disc golf company, so I can't just splurge for disc golf baskets. So I tried to think of a way, how could we build some type of disc golf basket that's inexpensive and would be easy to do.
Well, let me interrupt here, because the economy, actually Malaysia is better than a lot of places, but it's still, the dollar is much stronger than the Malaysian ringgit. The cost of a basket, a professional basket, plus shipping and customs, is about 2 months average income.
Yeah, roughly around $500 US is the average salary for a full-time worker in Malaysia.
And a $400 or $500 basket plus shipping and customs is close to $1,000.
Yeah, we're not going to have.
So yeah, so in other words, that is out of the question. It's just cost prohibitive.
These catch though.
Yes.
For me.
All right. So what did you do to build the first basket?
So I kind of looked around for materials. Metal is expensive, and I am not a welder. But when I was in an actual grocery store, I saw these kind of covers. They look like baskets, so to speak, plastic baskets. So I thought, we might be able to use this. And so I bought 2 of these. I brought them home and drilled a hole, got some PVC pipe, put the pipe through. I'll be able to show you a photo of it later. And it looked pretty good. Like, it actually looked pretty good. So I got another one and put it on top for the top. Kind of looked like a band, and then you got a basket on the bottom. Put the pipe through the middle, went to the hardware store, got some chains, used some zip ties, and voila, we had a disc golf basket, a Malaysian boleh disc golf basket. Malaysia boleh means like Malaysia can do anything, and that was pretty much kind of our motto, like Malaysia boleh basket. So I didn't tell you about that part.
Okay.
So I built the basket, brought it out to the park, tested it out, worked good. But playing disc golf just with my wife, it just usually turned into like arguments, because she's a bit better than me. I can't accept it. So I wanted other people to play with. And that's kind of the hard part, to introduce this kind of a game to other people that have never played it before.
And if a Malaysian person saw a traditional basket, you said it's so foreign to them that the initial response would be to reject it, initially.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The actual, what we look at as a disc golf basket would be very strange to the people. A lot of times, I don't think they wouldn't actually want it in their park at first. They would think that because nature is really big here, this metal object might be taken away from nature. And it didn't really draw in a lot of attention. But these fruit baskets, I didn't actually do this, so to speak, on purpose. I'd like to say that I did, but when I brought the basket out, it drew a ton of attention. I couldn't speak the local language, so I don't really know what's going on, but my wife's like, oh, they're all talking about the basket. Why would you put these food baskets in the park, and why are people throwing
Well, you
frisbees?
said you were finding people referencing your basket on like Facebook pages or message boards in
Yes.
Malaysia who didn't disc golf. They paid attention because they recognized it.
Yes, and it spread like wildfire. So a lot of different community blogs, and it actually was in the China Press newspaper for Malaysia. What is this object in the park? So I can actually show you that later, a clip of that. Yeah, so like, what is this? So it actually drew a ton of attention to disc golf, or at least the disc golf basket. I didn't tell you this either, and you're probably going to be very interested.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody reached out to the newspaper and talked about this, that there's these baskets, and that someone had seen somebody throwing frisbees at them. A woman had come numerous times from the newspaper to try to see people playing. She would show up at 5 o'clock, but it was actually during the monsoon season, and people hadn't been playing as often. About a week later, a group of myself and some other people actually came out to play, and the lady was there. She had said she had been there maybe 3 or 4 times, wanting to interview these people, to why are we throwing frisbees at these food baskets.
That's so, like,
Yeah.
that's,
And she did an interview, so she
so
got
cool.
her interview and interviewed us, and I was more than happy to do it because it's like, this is going to be in the newspaper. This is really cool. It's it's going to be good for disc golf, and it was. It's actually written in Chinese. I can't read Chinese, but it reached out to the Chinese community in Malaysia. There's three races in Malaysia, by the way. You have the Malay, Indian, and Malaysian Chinese. So there's 3 different languages that you need to kind of overcome as well.
And the expats are just people from other countries who are living here.
Yes.
And that you know, to a large extent in a lot of the communities international, that is a lot of where disc golf has started, because people have been exposed to it, not just the U.S. but also Europe.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to Indonesia, it's going to be the Aussies and, you know, some Kiwis, but that is like another community as well.
Yeah,
It's much smaller.
But I think that it's not that local people, at least in this region, they don't reject that it's a foreigner, but the sport grows a lot better if it's coming from actually somebody else, or if people have something to embrace that they feel is part of maybe their culture. And I think that the food basket thing, they could relate to that. Like, it wasn't a proper disc golf basket, it was kind of like the food basket. That's part of their culture. We don't use those in America, and people thought it was interesting, and I think that was kind of the secret recipe to getting people to play.
No, I mean, but that's great, because that translates to every nation and every culture. There is local things. So the first lesson is to connect to something local instead of bringing in this American game.
Yes.
Okay, now, so you have one basket, you brought it to smack dab in the center of the most popular, busiest park in Johor.
Yes. Yeah.
Johor's it's a real city, high rises, industry. It's not a little small town. This is a big city. And you went to the biggest park input, and now you started by reaching out, because like, you start with what you know. You started reaching out to expat groups, though.
Yeah, on Facebook, social media is huge, so I just looked up Johor Expat or the Johor Foreigners Group, because I was actually hoping to get, maybe there was somebody who lived here who played disc golf. So I posted in these groups, are you interested in playing frisbee golf? People, and that's another thing, people relate to frisbee golf term more than disc golf term here, at least in Malaysia at first, when you're trying to recruit the sport. I think the language barrier, frisbee is a more common term than disc.
Sure.
So I used the frisbee golf. Are you interested in playing frisbee golf? I got a little bit of bites, but what got the biggest bite was, do you want to practice English and learn your English while playing frisbee golf? The next session that I posted that weekend, 10 times as many people.
So this is where I stopped and said, we have to do an interview. I was going to probably do it anyways, but this is where I said I had to, because it was the most interesting part of the story, which was, I mean, the challenge everywhere forever, not so much anymore in the US, but the challenge forever is, how do you get people to come out and try this game? Once you try it, you'll like it. And your hook was, come out to learn English, but you're going to be playing frisbee golf while I'm teaching you.
That's it, really. I mean, that's what it was. If you want to practice your English, you want to speak with a native speaker, come out to Bukit Indah Park, throw some frisbees, play frisbee golf, and we will practice English. Boom. And it wasn't just guys. So we attracted a lot of women, a lot of children. It was quite diverse. So
okay, in addition to diverse, you also started attracting people of different races.
Yes.
And different religions.
Correct.
Big thing out here, which not that you weren't aware of it, but you realize plays a part in this.
Yeah, I wasn't. There's 2 parts. So Malaysia is predominantly a Muslim country. I'm very open-minded with all religion. I'm not Muslim, but I have a lot of friends that are. I wasn't aware that how often they needed to pray, and at certain times these people needed to pray. And probably in a few minutes you're going to hear the siren of when they have to pray again, because that's going to happen, I think, at 7 o'clock. Certain times that I was posting to come play disc golf were not convenient times based on when a lot of the local people needed to actually worship. I found that out, so I needed to change the play times to fit times that a lot of the local people could actually come out to play that didn't interfere with their prayer time.
Well, so this is another thing which, you know, it translates, which is you have to be willing to adapt to the environment that you're in,
Yes.
you can't just say this is how we do things.
But you gotta adapt. I mean, that's why I came here as well. I don't want to force things on them. I kind of want it to be able to integrate it a bit. There's three main races: Malay, then you have Malaysian Chinese, and Malaysian Indian. So those are three races, which is kind of unique within Asia. I've lived in different parts of Asia. Usually it's more homogeneous, just like one group. But Malaysia has those three, and those groups work really, really well together. So there's a lot of cultures that you actually do have to mix and
the play is when everybody plays, they wear the clothing that's expected of them in their religions.
That is true.
And so you will see women playing with burqas and
Hijab,
yes. Right?
They'll cover their body. They follow that. And Malaysia's hot. It's really hot. You gotta explain. I mean, it
is
90 degrees, 30 degrees Celsius.
It was very hot yesterday.
And
it was warm.
These a lot of the Malay women, they'll come out and play, and they can play good. Hijab, they're fully covered, respecting the religion, and they just do it, and it's pretty impressive. Like for me at first, I was over there sweating, and I'm complaining about how hot it is, and I look at Bella, a girl that I know, and she's fully covered and no problem at all.
Yeah. By the way, just a quick aside, the way the religions coexist is so much different than the picture that I was painted for the past 40-something years. Like, we were invited into a Hindu temple. Take your shoes off, come in here, come join us. Like, it was just beautiful. And so the disc golf, the diversity of disc golf in Johor, Malaysia is about as diverse as...
Yeah, it's very diverse.
It's very diverse.
It's very
real
diverse.
Diversity.
The group started to get quite big. I needed to make more baskets. I actually made more of these. I made a full course worth of the baskets, and I put them in the ground so people could actually show up and play when they wanted to play. The problem was that so many people were starting to play, and that these plastic baskets, the wear and tear on the baskets, I really couldn't keep up with that. And what really made
the problem was too many people were disc golfing in Johor.
Yeah, it was cool.
How cool is that?
But what really touched me a bit was, as we mentioned earlier in the video, the currency isn't as strong here as it is in other parts of the world, and people love disc golf, but it's, they're not going to spend money to make these baskets, so to speak, or the parts. And one day I got a message. They called me Mr. Eric. Mr. Eric, the basket is a little bit broken. Is there any way? How can I fix it? And I was really touched that somebody really wanted to fix the basket. Like, they were reaching out to me, and they were worried that they do it wrong, and they said, we don't have the metal, but could I use this wire? They wanted to use a wire to kind of hold up some of the chains, and I was like, wow,
the minute they start saying we, that means they are embracing the sport. It's not Eric's sport.
Yes.
It has now become our sport.
Yeah.
And you saw that transition happen.
Yes.
And he was telling me during dinner, and he's like, look, these are real goosebumps. He's like showing me like goosebumps on his arms, talking about that moment when the disc golfers started calling the sport we.
And embraced it for real.
All right, so you have a basket, now you have a whole course full of baskets. Are these permanent?
They're in the ground.
Did you get permission to put them in?
No, I didn't. Well, so Malaysia's quite free. It's pretty relaxed, and a lot of times, yeah, I did not get permission. So we had the baskets, and I'd been bringing them out there, but I can't lug all these baskets to and from the park all the time. And one week I kind of left them. They weren't in the ground, they had a base. I left them to see if they would stay. I drove past the next day, the baskets were there. I decided not to pick them up. After a week they were still there. I decided to go and dig them and put them in the ground, and nobody said anything. And to our surprise, the groundskeepers who cut the grass actually would find people's discs in some of the high grass and would put them back in the basket. So it was kind of like a mutual agreement. They accepted it, and we had it there, and we never had permission.
I want to cry.
However, I got a better part to this. Later, we were actually having a random draw doubles event going on, just a pickup on a Sunday, and some park officials actually happened to come to the park. They were checking the park and asked us what we were doing. We explained. They asked, how did the baskets get there? My wife was speaking with these people. They were speaking in the local language, and we kind of explained not only did they embrace it, they asked us if the grass was fine to be cut, and they rearranged how to cut the grass to actually make the course more for Frisbee golf. They said that they supported it. They had no funds to financially support it, but they would tell their groundskeepers to cut, and they actually posted it on their, I can show you that as well, on their website of things to do in that park. So
They just saw, and this is the first course in all of Malaysia?
all of Malaysia, Bukit Indah, it's called Roundabout Disc Golf Course. Yes.
That's too cool. All right, so now you have 18-hole course. People are playing, but now the baskets are getting a lot of wear and tear for a plastic basket. So what's the next step?
Yeah, the next step is we're going to need to make a proper basket, something that's going to be more durable. We're going to need a real basket. We're going to need steel baskets.
Okay, so first off, which organization funded that, Eric?
Yeah.
Wait, it's the I'll go ahead and spoil it for you. He took it straight from his kid's college fund.
No.
No?
She's going to get a disc golf scholarship, so we were investing in her.
Oh, okay. So if they were just reinvesting.
Yeah.
No, you paid for it yourself.
Yeah, but again, I come from the U.S. I'm fortunate enough to save some money and earn good salary. It wasn't really a problem. I like playing disc golf, so I could do I did all this for the people. I like to play disc golf too. I want to play disc golf too, not I want to play on a broken basket. So yes, I paid for, I sponsored the baskets, I put them in the ground, and I played on them every day as well as everybody else. So yes.
Okay, so yeah. So the humble Mr. Eric, he paid for the baskets himself. That's what he's trying to say without wanting to take credit for it. You should take credit for it. There's nothing wrong with being proud of doing something good. All right, so now there's a course in the ground. All right, now you wash your hands of it and you quit now that you have a course?
No, having a permanent course like this, it got so many people playing. Now I'm showing up to the course and people are trying to explain to me how to play the game. Oh, hello, this is Frisbee golf. Oh, really? How do you play? They're teaching me, there's too many people. We got to build another course, and that's what happened.
Too many people for their course.
So
you got to build a second course.
Because I do, like I said, I like to play too. I would work, I'd get off work, I want to play, and I'm sitting there waiting at my own course that I paid for. I can't even play, I can't even finish a round. I also want to play. So we decided to build another course. That's what happened. Build a different course.
How much did the baskets cost to have made?
I could get the baskets made through a local welder. They're actually from fencing, but they would use like a fence to make the basket and the pipe for the fence pole. Roughly $100 US was the translation to that. So like 400 ringgit per basket.
Okay, so almost like a 10% the cost because of the shipping and customs.
Yeah, well,
would cost to actually bring the course in.
Yeah, roughly.
Okay. So you got the first course put in, you put a second course in, too many people started playing that one. I mean, was that just a progression? Like,
yeah, we
need another one, we need another one?
Yeah, and then I started seeing that the sport was growing. I like playing events, and players here started getting really good. Guys that I had been teaching started to get better than me. So the competition, like now, I went from like teacher to guys are beating me and a little like frustrated. Like I was trying to teach it, and other guys are better than me. We started competing more, starting to run tournaments, and I realized wherever we put the second course in a different part of the city, and within a few months there's all of these new players. So the idea was, wow, if we reach out to different parts of the city or different neighborhoods, you're going to get a lot more players.
And they're local. That's the part that is so surprising to me, is that they're local players.
Yeah. Johor is not, it's not a big. There's a lot of people here, but there's not many foreign people. That's why everybody's staring at you when you're walking around.
Yeah, I know. I kind of stick out here a bit.
Yeah, a lot. You're tall, and yeah. So, but yes, it's local. It's local players.
So another course went, another course. Now you're up to 9.
Yes.
And
it got so popular that an actual ball golf course, it was a 5-star ball golf course, it wasn't getting enough traffic. They reached out to me. They wanted to put in disc golf and get rid of the ball golf. That was called Pulai Springs, and it was featured in the 2020 Innova Disc Golf calendar.
Yeah. They reached out to you.
Yeah. they wanted money. They were trying to get, they wanted something to kind of get revenue. But the point was is there were so many people playing disc golf that they thought that would be a good investment to have people come play disc golf because there wasn't enough people ball golfing.
Gotcha. Now, you want to see how a high-level professional interviewer pitches a softball? Check this out. Cracked. So, your main motive for putting courses in is so you could play them. So clearly, all the courses you put in were in Johor, where you live, right?
No, at first they were, but
Pretty smooth, right?
but there were people that had visited to Johor and came out to play disc golf because so many people were playing, and the capital city, Kuala Lumpur, people from that region were asking me, why don't we have any courses in KL or Kuala Lumpur? So they kept badgering me about it, and I did want to be selfish because I live here. I don't want to waste the materials, so to speak, to go there, but I decided to build a course in the capital as well,
Right.
or to introduce it.
Are there other courses outside of Johor as well?
Yes, there's courses. So I donated some baskets to an area called Negeri Sembilan. It's a school. It's a boarding school. They have a private course, and then in the KL, they have 2 permanent basket courses, and a guy named Adeno, who's really passionate about disc golf as well, has built 2 or 3 target or tonal type courses as well. So they have 5 at this point, unless he's done more.
They have 5 courses. I mean, this is like I don't want to like call it like a hub, because like you never want to take away from what's happening in other places and the hard work everybody else is doing, or say that somebody's doing better or worse. Because if you're doing anything to grow disc golf, you should be admired for it. But it's just it's mind blowing that so much is here, and I wasn't even aware of this. All right, now we have with us a special guest all the way from Kuala Lumpur just for this interview. 4-hour drive. He might have also been here for the tournament and hung out an extra day, but we're gonna edit that part out and tell everybody you came. That's the power of editing. This is Darren. I don't know your last name.
Boone.
Darren Boone from Kuala Lumpur, and I want to just talk to you for a second. So you discovered disc golf in Kuala Lumpur, or you discovered here?
There was a tournament in KL, and Eric and his wife and his family, they came over to KL, and he told us about everything good in JB, and then I came over to JB. I found out about the sport, all the tournaments, and then I started joining tournaments, and that's how I'm here now.
And now you're here. Tell you what, let's move in a bit closer too, just for the lighting. So you discovered how long ago?
2 years.
2 years ago. And so now, how many courses are in Kuala Lumpur?
About 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Okay, you know it's a good sign when you don't, at the minute you don't know how many courses there are. That's a good sign. It's like when you get older and you can't remember how old you are. That means you're old. If you don't know if it's 4 or 5, that means the sport's growing, right? That's awesome. Are there leagues in Kuala Lumpur?
No.
No leagues yet?
Not yet.
Okay, are a lot of people playing?
Yeah, they play. Yeah.
So that's, and that's like, it's in Kuala Lumpur, like four or 5 courses. I didn't mean to embarrass you on camera, but I wanted to bring you up here because, well, you were here.
Yeah.
So, you are down here, you travel, do your work lets you travel?
Yeah.
Because you're a programmer and you work traveling, so then you get to travel and play disc golf.
Yeah.
Sound familiar? Wait a second, are you Malaysia's first touring player?
Probably not.
Probably not, okay. All right, well that part we'll edit out and we'll tell people that I'll just lie. All right, hey, come back here, Eric. Cool, I thank you so much. I wanted to introduce you to everybody because
Sounds cool.
I wanted to hear about Kuala Lumpur. So the single biggest challenge is golf discs, right?
Yes.
All right. So what can someone do if they want to support Malaysian disc golf? Because you need discs. That's the biggest thing, right?
That is the biggest thing, and I'm glad you said that. Yeah, we really could accept any type of used disc, any type of donation of a used disc, no matter the condition, warped, plastic, doesn't matter. Players here just they don't have discs. There's guys that just played in the tournament. I mean, they're driving, putting, everything with one old DX Shark, and they've been playing like that for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
So.
this is a real thing. If you want to do anything to support disc golf, and by the way, I'm not playing favorites in Malaysia. Pick your country, right? If you want to support anywhere, like it doesn't have to be here. But the thing I will tell you is send directly to the club. That's the one thing. I don't want to go into why. I don't want this to be a negative video, but people have misrepresented what they're doing. Let's just say this: if you want to send this to Malaysia, contact Eric.
Or they can just reach out
Directly.
to
Or
the Facebook page or the Malaysia Disc Golf Instagram.
Page and send directly here. That's all we're saying.
Real quick,
Yes.
as Darren's here, Darren, I remember you played in an actual PDGA tournament and you were running back and forth across the course because you were sharing a disc with your girlfriend. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Do you remember that at the
Yeah.
first disc golf course,
Yeah.
roundabout disc golf course, that
Really?
they didn't have enough discs? I'm looking and I'm playing in my round and I see this MA3 player like running back and forth. What is going on?
I didn't hear that story.
Yes, and him and her were sharing. She would throw a shot, mark it, then he'd run back. They're in different groups, different holes.
Oh my God, that's.
And I see them going back and forth.
That's your first tournament?
Yeah, that's my first
Should I even say that?
The
Is that
flight
legal in a
ended.
PDGA event?
Yeah, was it a PDGA tournament?
No.
Yeah. No, it's now. By the way, everything's legal when it happened like 3 years ago. Everything that happened at a PDGA tournament.
They were marking their lies. She would mark her lie, and then he would get the disc. He would mark his lie. So yeah.
Thankfully, we didn't have to share the mini as well.
Okay, so you had 2 minis, so you could do
Tell
it.
him about your mini situation.
come in here.
CD.
He uses.
I use a CD.
Use a
'cause
CD.
A lot of old CDs at home.
Right?
They are not used anymore, so I use them as my mini. I still use them today, even after 2 years of playing. And I recommend that for everyone.
Because you don't forget it, because it's shiny. He told
Yeah.
me that.
Yeah, you should actually keep doing that because that's like, yeah, don't get too big for your britches and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, keep doing the thing that got you here. Real quick, how did I wind up here? I'm trying to. I reached out to so many.
Yes, you reached out. You were starting your journey. Obviously, a lot of people here follow your journey, and you had posted that you were going to be traveling through Asia and Southeast Asia,
Okay.
and reached out to some of the pages as well. And then I think my wife responded back and said, "Hey, please make sure you stop in Malaysia," and you jumped right on that.
Okay, that's right. I think I posted to the group and I heard back from you guys.
Right. They didn't think it was real.
What?
So somebody, yeah, that's what it was. It was, "Hi, I'm Scott," because someone had posted as Scott Stokely that I'm going to be coming to Southeast Asia when I'm interested in stopping in Malaysia, and nobody believed it. So everyone thought it was like some kind of scam. And so my wife wanted to respond.
Well, it might be. You don't know. Actually, this
Well, I
could
think
be
you're
part
the
of a big scam.
And so
You don't
I
know.
actually decided to respond, "Is this real?" And I went through the Instagram and sent an Instagram because I know your Instagram is your Instagram. And then you responded, "Yes, this is really Scott Stokely," and yes, I'm.
Okay. Now I'm remembering. That's why. Okay. I was trying to remember how this has all become like this whirlwind. All right. So final wrapping up thoughts. Malaysia Disc Golf Facebook page and Instagram.
Yep.
That's the way you find out about disc golf here. They have a tour here. There's events to be played here. It's the people are unbelievable. The food is unbelievable. By the way, it's safe. All right, like you come here, like you're not gonna have any problems. Like, you know, it's.
And our events, people aren't running around anymore. This was years ago in the very beginning. Our events now are very stable PDGA sanctioned
But
events.
they do have monkeys.
The monkeys do take discs during our rounds too. That
Yeah.
is-
No. But
They give it back.
they give them back.
Give it back as it.
Okay, yeah. By the way, they won't steal your best disc. If when they come out of a tree, if they see it's like a Halo Tour Series disc, a really expensive one, the monkeys are like, "Oh no, I won't take that."
Yeah, if there's a name on it, they usually return it. So
Oh yeah,
put your
they'll-
name.
yeah. If you put your name on it, the monkeys will return it. All right, so I don't know what else to say. Thank you so much for everything. We've had the best time. Well, we're going to be in Malaysia for 3 more weeks. We're going to be in Kuala Lumpur, hopefully meeting the disc golfers out there and playing up there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed, everybody. Malaysia Disc Golf Instagram and Facebook page. Eric Grover. And like I said, they need discs. You want to do a club fundraiser, put a box together, Ship a box of discs out here. Every single one of them will go to a player that needs a golf disc in order to play this game.
Yep.
All right, thanks everyone.